What's up, YouTube, man? It's your boy Action Jackson, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about OTAs, which happened yesterday, Wednesday, May 22nd. I'm going to be talking about the keys and which some of the good things to take away from yesterday's OTAs, my takeaways, uh, good and positives for certain players, and that's pretty much it. So before we hop into the video, I appreciate if you guys would like the video, subscribe if you're new, comment and share my video with anyone who you think will enjoy my content, man. I'll be straight into it. Shout out to Patrick No C Walker. Again, I got his notes and from yesterday on Twitter. Make sure you guys go check him out on DallasCowboy.com. He does really great job uh, doing great article work and on the scene work for the Dallas Cowboys. He travels with the team. He does really great journalism work for the team. He also has a Friday show where he joins Skywalker Steele, another great guy in the Cowboy community. Make sure you guys also go check him out. He has a really great show in the morning time, Monday through Friday. And on Fridays, they have the scientific method, and they do a really great job where it ranges from like 20 to 25, maybe possibly 30 minutes, where they're talking about Dallas Cowboy football and things of that nature. So, you see from his offensive keys, he's first. It was saying that Zeke and Rico, they both got solid reps, solid splits, my bad, on first team. BB Guyton are with the second team to begin OTAs, and then Edoga and Hoffman are with the first team. The one thing I don't really like that a lot of old school coaches do, and what they like to do is they like to make the rookies sweat, and they're not automatically going to bring the rookies in and automatically have them get first team reps, which I understand. And you know, you got to understand, you got to let some of these guys know that nothing is given to them. You got to work for everything. I understand that part, but Edoga is not a good left tackle in my opinion. He's a solid left guard, but as Dak Prescott, was he good versus in that Miami Dolphins game? You no cameras and no media's in front of him. It's just one-on-one conversation. It's you and him, and you can't tell nobody nothing. You and him are having a conversation. He was not good, and the film even tells you that Udoga was not good. And then Buffalo Bills, not Buffalo Bills, but the Miami Dolphins game. He wasn't good in the Arizona Cardinal game when he has our left tackle. He was decent versus the Rams, but he messed up his ankle, wasn't there. But we know that Tyler Guyton, we drafted him in the first round. We bat 1,000 when we're drafting these guys in the first round in terms of offensive linemen. They normally pan out. So I feel like Tyler Guyton will be your first team starting left tackle. Come down to the starting of the regular season, September 9th, versus the Cleveland Browns. Tyler Guyton will be your starting left tackle. Hoffman, I've been hearing a lot of people talk about praising him a lot, specifically this front office and his coaching staff. Mike Solari, when you hear him talk about it, when they had a interview him the other day, and when they're interviewing a lot of these positional coaches, when Mike Solari brought up leadership, he brought up Martin, of course, and then he also second he brought up Brock Hoffman. So a lot of these coaches, Stephen Jones, Jerry Jones, they really have high confidence in a guy like Hoffman. And if Hoffman ends up being a really great center for you, which I think he can be he can be a reputable center, like he can start for you in the season in a pinch, but I don't think he's going to be better than Cooper Beebe as center in my opinion. But if Brock Hoffman turns out to be the next great center of all time, then we'll just put Beebe at right guard and we'll still have a really good offensive line. But I'm still holding out my expectations of Hoffman being a really good center. He'll have to show me something come down the time for regular season starts. Tolbert and Brooks both were getting first team reps. That battle for wide receiver 3 is wide open. Jalen Tolbert, the Dallas Cowboys would love for Jalen Tolbert to be that guy, but they're not going to give it to him again. Jalen Brooks, who, in terms of your draft class in 2023, was basically your best. He made the most impact from the guys that were drafted over guys like Mazi Smith, Luke Schoonmaker, who I'm going to talk about in a little bit, DeMarvin Overshown, not Simi Fehoko, but Junior Fehoko, Austin Richards, Deuce Vaughn, things of that nature, right? Eric Scott, he was a lot better than those guys in terms of regular season. Turpin had a first team rep, got a deep fade from Dak Prescott. It was completed. Turpin was heavily targeted in 7-on-7s with Dak Prescott. Flournoy, our wide receiver that was drafted this year, in the 6th round, he had a lot of quickness that Pat No C Walker was saying in and out of his breaks were lethal. And Trey Lance had several well-placed throws and full team reps, including in traffic over the middle that only Corey Grooms, who we drafted from, I think, Western Michigan as well, 5'11", was in position to elevate and grab. It was completed. Defensively, Nealon won several reps versus first team offensive line, and we more than likely know that he's going to be playing, I think, right side defensive end, so opposite of D Law. I'm pretty sure when he's talking about he won several reps, so it's probably against Chuma Udoga. Uh, Maurice Luafau, linebacker that we dropped in the third round out of Notre Dame. He was rotating between first and second team reps. And then Kalen Carson, who we drafted out of Wake Forest in the fifth round. When he got his reps, they were all boundary corner type of reps. So again, I heard a lot of dialogue and I heard a lot of discussions basically saying that if Kalen Carson could come in and be an impact player for you and he can start for you, I think Jordan Lewis will be demoted down to the fourth cornerback spot, and you'll have Diggs and Carson on both outside corners, and then you'll put Deron Bland back in the slot where he was very great at his rookie year, and then start of his second year until he was forced to play outside due to an injury. So if that happens, that'll be very nice to see. I am going to be talking about Trey Lance in a separate video and how his development, if he does well in the preseason, when with Dak Prescott getting an extension or without Dak Prescott getting an extension, what Trey Lance's future could potentially hold with the Dallas Cowboys. I'll have that in a separate video after I do this one. Cowboys players, shout out to Michael Gelkin, who are working back from injury, included defensive tackle Osa Digizua. It says undisclosed, but more than when I looked around, it was a hip injury. Nose tackle Mazi Smith, it was a shoulder injury. Tight end Luke Schoonmaker, he had a hamstring injury. He's more than likely a guy that's probably not going to make the roster, and the reason why I say that is because I know that he was selected in the second round out of the 2023 draft class. I really want this pick to work out because we shoot dice too many times with these second round picks and they don't pan out. For every Trayvon Diggs and DeMarcus Lawrence that is drafted out in the second round, we have a Sam Williams who hasn't developed yet, a Randy Gregory who was solid but wasn't a guy that consistently be on the field because the NFL at the time viewed weed to be a taboo sort of situation. Now it's you always was able to smoke weed, but whatever the case may be, right? Who else was selected in the second round? You have Kelvin Joseph, who just wanted to be a rapper. He didn't pan out. So we have a lot of second round picks that it hasn't panned out underneath the Steven and Will McClay era in terms of second round picks. So if a guy like John Stevens picks up where he left off last year, where he's catching multiple catches, he's not making a whole lot of mistakes, he's scoring touchdowns, he's making big plays, he's gaining a lot of yards after catch. If he's doing a lot of those things and he's picking up like how he did coming off that torn ACL, he's going to be a guy that's going to make the roster. Beverin Spanford is around the same height and length. He's taller than Luke Schoonmaker. Schoonmaker is listed at 6'5", 6'6". They have Beverin Spanford as a 6'7" tight end. They already said he can run block really well. Replicates what Schoonmaker can do. He's a really nice vertical threat, something that Schoonmaker needs to work on. Beverin can catch. Schoonmaker has drop issues. If I just named three quality traits that what both tight ends do in Schoonmaker and Beverin Spanford, they both block really well. The other two things that I named was terms of vertical threat and drops. That's the two that Schoonmaker needs to work on. So since Beverin has that and he shows that he remains consistent, he remains healthy, he doesn't have a big time injury, and again, he was a high prioritized UDFA, undrafted free agent. So that means that if he shows up, that's the person that makes the roster. Now, what does that mean for Luke Schoonmaker? If he's hurt, he can't show up. He's not participating in OTAs for now 2 straight years of not having that because he was hurt during OTAs. He's going to eventually get demoted, not get enough playing time, and will get either cut or traded. Sucks to say that because we spent such very high draft pick in 2023, and we could use that second round pick on a running back or a tight end with similar issues but have more upside than a guy like Darnell Washington. But it's whatever, right? Linebacker to Marvin Overshone. That's definitely going to be a guy, and which was announced today, my bad. Eric Kendricks is going to be your Mike linebacker, middle of your defense, green dot guy. Your weak side linebacker is going to be DeMarvin Overshone. So when all the trash is going one way, who's going to be picking up anybody who wants to cut back and block, if the running back wants to come back in space, or if they're freeing up enough space and clogging up a lane and the running back's trying to pick a gap, DeMarvin Overshown's going to fly down the field, being a 6'4" athlete that he is, come down and thump that running back. So, and then the strong side linebacker is going to be Damone Clark. That was announced today. I wanted to mention that as well. John Stevens Jr. ACL is coming back, and David Durden was an ACL guy that tore his ACL last year. All those guys I just named, so Osa, Mazi, Luke Schoonmaker, Overshown, John Stevens, David Durden, my bad, all took mental reps at yesterday's OTA practice. Zeke is back and locked in at Dallas Cowboys OTAs. He's laughing with the coaches. He's very energetic. He's back really like he never left. And, Dallas Cowboys miss him. I already know that Dak does. Shout out to Jess Nevada's. Does really great work also for the Dallas Cowboys. Make sure you guys go check her out. That's where I got the Zeke post from. Same thing with the Jalen Tolbert and Jalen Brooks. For the battle for wide receiver 3, that will be earned this offseason. Shout out to her. She had pictures of Jalen Tolbert and Jalen Brooks, all in stance, all in participating in drills. They're saying that Tolbert added on muscle, so did Overshown. Those guys are adding on muscle. Overshown again and Trayvon Diggs are recovering very well, and they are ahead. Oh, also John Stevens Jr. are also all ahead in terms of recovering back from ACL injuries, but who am I more okay with coming back from injury and thinking they'll be kind of back to themselves? I feel like will be Trayvon Diggs. I got to see what Overshown looks like, and then also got to see how does Terrence Steele build off those last 8 games where he looked pretty decent coming off of that ACL injury, which I think we brought him back too early. But since we didn't have enough offensive line depth or a true right tackle that could play offensive line that we felt comfortable with, we had to rush him back. Rico Dowdle looked fresh today at OTAs. His speed and strength are still a factor for him as he competes for the running back spot this offseason. Again, running back by committee. Schoonmaker is coming off of a hamstring injury. We discussed that in length. That he could potentially be a guy that gets replaced if Beverin Spanford or John Stevens. John Stevens picks up where he left off last year. If Beverin Spanford, again, who does really great job in the run game department, bigger than Schoonmaker, can catch the ball, doesn't have a problem with drops, is all going to be a guy that's going to be better. That does things that's automatically better than Schoonmaker. Then Schoonmaker will more than likely get replaced. So yeah, man, that's about it for the video. Hope you guys have a nice day. Stay safe, stay blessed. Bye.